I saw it. I saw the creature, and it looked imploringly but kindly in my face. But little did I think when I paused a moment to look upon that melancholy but faithful animal, that it held a part in my destiny. Oh, Mark Industry, dare I hope that you live when all else have perished? I have told you all that I can tell you, and according as your own judgment may dictate to you, you can encourage hope or extinguish it forever. I have kept back nothing from you which can make the affair worse or better. I have added nothing, but you have it simply as it was told to me. He is lost! He is lost! I am one, lady, who always thinks certainty of any sort preferable to suspense, and although while there is no positive news of death, the continuance of life ought fairly to be assumed, yet you must perceive from a review of all the circumstances, upon how very slender a foundation all your hopes must rest. I have no hope, I have no hope. He is lost to me forever. It were madness to think he lived. Oh, Mark! Mark! And is this the end of all our fond affection? Did I indeed look my last upon that face, when on this spot we parted? The uncertainty, said Colonel Geoffrey, wishing to withdraw as much as possible from a consideration of her own sorrows, the uncertainty, too, that prevails with regard to that fate of poor Mr. Thornhill, is a sad thing. I much fear that those precious pearls he had have been seen by some one, who has not scrupled to obtain possession of them by his death. Yes, it would seem so indeed, but what are pearls to me? Oh, would that they had sunk to the bottom of that Indian sea from whence they had been plucked! Alas, alas! It has been their thirst for gain that has produced all these evils. We might have been poor here, but we should have been happy. Rich we ought to have been in contentment, but now all is lost, and the world to me can present nothing that is to be desired, but one small spot large enough to be my grave. She leant upon the arm of the garden seat, and gave herself up to such a passion of tears, that Colonel Geoffrey felt he dared not interrupt her. There is something exceedingly sacred about real grief, which awes the beholder, and it was with an involuntary feeling of respect that Colonel Geoffrey stepped a few paces off, and waited until that burst of agony had passed away. It was during those few brief moments that he overheard some words uttered by one who seemed likewise to be suffering from that prolific source of all affliction, disappointed affection. Seated at some short distance was a maiden, and one not young enough to be called a youth, but still not far enough advanced in existence to have had all his better feelings crushed by an admixture with the cold world, and he was listening while the maiden spoke. "It is the neglect," she said, "which touched me to the heart, but one word spoken or written, one message of affection, to tell me that the memory of a love I thought would be eternal still lingered in your heart, would have been a world of consolation, but it came not, and all was despair." "Listen to me," said her companion, "and if ever in this world you can believe that one who truly loves can be cruel to be kind, believe that I am that one. I yielded for a time to that fascination of a passion which should never have found a home within my heart, but yet it was far more of a sentiment than a passion, inasmuch as never for one moment did an evil thought mingle with its pure aspirations. It was a dream of joy, which for a time obliterated a remembrance that ought never to have been forgotten, but when I was rudely awakened to the fact that those whose opinions were of more importance to your welfare and your happiness knew nothing of love but in its grossest aspect, it became necessary at once to crush a feeling which, in its continuance, could shadow forth nothing but evil. You may not imagine, and you may never know, for I cannot tell the heart pangs it has cost me to persevere in a line of conduct which I felt was due to you. whatever heart pangs it might cost me. I have been content to imagine that your affection would turn to indifference, perchance to hatred, that a consciousness of being slighted would arouse in your defense all a woman's pride, and that thus you would be lifted above regret. Farewell forever. I dare not love you honestly and truly, and better is it thus to part than to persevere in a delusive dream that can but terminate in degradation and sadness. Do you hear those words? Whispered Colonel Jeffrey to Joanna. You perceive that others suffer, and from the same cause, the perils of affection? I do. I will go home and pray for strength to maintain my heart against this sad affliction. The course of true love never yet ran smooth. Wonder not, therefore, Joanna Oakley, that yours has suffered such a blight. It is the great curse of the highest and noblest feelings of which humanity is capable, that while under felicitous circumstances they produce an extraordinary amount of happiness, when anything adverse occurs, they are most prolific sources of misery. Shall I accompany you? Joanna felt grateful for the support of the colonel's arm towards her own home, and as they passed the barber's shop, they were surprised to see that the dog and that the hat were gone. End of chapter 6. Recording by Red Abrus, August 2008.